I must discover the source of this corrupt... Traveler, I advise caution. A corruption has gripped Stone Lore Grove, turning the wildlife aggressive and spreading an impurity unlike anything our circle has ever seen. Nature itself has fallen out of balance. That is what I hope to determine. The Archdruid sent me to investigate, but it was all I could do to avoid the once docile creatures of the grove. I found a few pockets of corruption that must be cleansed, but I need another druid to assist me. Really, I just need another set of hands. Here, let me mark your map. I'll cast the cleansing spell, then you burn out the impurity. That will temporarily restore the balance while we search for the source. The circle will compensate you, of course. Let's find a few concentrated areas of corruption. My spells will cleanse the impurities, then you burn them. Hopefully we can determine the source of the corruption before this malady spreads to the rest of the island. Just keep your guard up. It wasn't always. It used to be one of the safest locations on the island. In fact, my ancestors deemed the grove sacred when they first arrived. Now the corrupted wildlife attacks for no reason, and some of my fellow druids have been afflicted. Not much, unfortunately. I noticed its effects a short time ago. Usually docile creatures turning aggressive. A strange blight spreading through the plants and trees. I brought my concerns to the Archdruid, who initially thought I was overreacting. I'm not sure anyone has ever convinced Archdruid Agathe of anything. But she couldn't deny that something strange was happening in the grove. She ordered me to look into it and bring my findings back to the Circle Elders. Nothing. I haven't gone back yet. Until I determine if the corruption can be cleansed and find the source, I don't actually have anything new to report. Well, except that now the corruption has spread to some of my fellow druids. Just that. They have become as hostile as the rest of the afflicted wildlife. We may have to deal with any corrupted druids we meet. But with your help and the blessing of the true way, we'll soon have a solution to present to the Circle Elders. I suppose you would call it our doctrine, our religion. The true way represents a life guided by natural principles and the value and willfulness of nature. All of nature comes from Ifra, and the druids are the arbiters of Ifra's will. Have you never heard of Ifra where you come from? The storyteller? The god of song and forest? The spirit of the now? Ifra formed the frame upon which nature was woven. He gave rise to the rules of life on Nirn. His way is the true way. I am a druid of the Stone Lore Circle. I am a teacher, a healer, a counselor, as well as a steward of the natural world. I hear the voice of Ifra and his earthbones, and I do my best to be his advocate. Natural principles guide my every action. Oh, that was early in the First Era. After struggling against the Dureni hegemony, our ancestors came to this archipelago because of its connection to Ifra. When they arrived, our druidic circle deemed Stone Lore Grove to be a sacred site. Not to be confused with our ritual circles. I mean the druids of the archipelago all belong to one of 3 distinct subgroups. You would probably call it a sect. Those who hold to the same circle share common beliefs and approaches to Ifra's will. The druids of this grove belong to the Stone Lore Circle. We revere nature, but believe that all cultures have a place here. Some of the High Isle folk refer to us as the friendly druids. We rarely evangelize, letting our work speak for itself. You'll probably encounter the Eldertide Circle in your wanderings. Be careful. They are overtly hostile to the civilized residents of High Isle. As for the Firesong Circle, even I don't know much about them. They never leave the island of Iphalon. corruption spreads quickly. Burn the corpse while I cast a cleansing spell. Corruption spreads throughout the grove. First the plants, then the animals, and now even some druids have been afflicted. A corrupted shell. Burn it with cleansing fire after I cast...
We are the spirit of the grove. We are the evergrowth, and this druid seeks to help, while another has unbalanced the true way. Aid us, mortal, before the nature that sustains this grove collapses.
How disconcerting. The evergrowth hasn't spoken in generations. Pardon that display. I've never been forcibly taken over by a spirit of nature before. I wasn't sure if the corruption was connected to the evergrowth, but now we know. And we know a druid is somehow involved. That troubles me. As I understand it, this grove was deemed sacred by the early druids, but it was also out of balance. They shaped Ifra's laws into a spirit and gave that spirit dominion over the grove. It recognized that I was trying to help it, and reached out. Yes. But is that druid acting out of malice, or ignorance? Either way, if the evergrowth succumbs, then the corruption will increase and spread out of control. We must take this news to the Circle Elders. Meet me in our village. Our village lies at the center of the grove. Once we get there, I will tell the Archdruid and the other elders what we learned. Not much to tell. Archdruid Agathy oversees our community here. A number of the village elders serve as her advisors and help train the younger aspirants and initiates in the true way. I'll introduce you to them once we get to the village. Archdruid, elders, this outsider helped me. And the Evergrowth, it spoke through me.
The spirit of the grove? It hasn't manifested like that in many generations. Are you sure?
Druid Audrine has never given us reason to doubt her observations. Tell us, child, what did the spirit say?
It warned us that nature was out of balance. That a druid was responsible for this trouble.
Out of balance? That explains the corruption. But to blame a druid, I cannot accept that without proof.
Then we will find that proof. Friend, meet me at the Circle's ritual site. Meet me at the ritual circle on top of the rise that overlooks the village. We can talk there.
Nature's spirits can be capricious, dangerous. The Evergrowth is no exception. Tread carefully, stranger. And don't allow young Audrine to toss around accusations she can't confirm. When the first druids of Stonelore discovered this sacred grove, the place had no spirit to nurture and protect it. So they prayed to Ifre, and shaped his will to call forth the Evergrowth. They bound it to the grove to preserve its balance. If you look at it from a certain perspective, I suppose so. It was required until the spirit bonded with the land. And once that occurred, there was no reason to eliminate the bindings. But if the Evergrowth suffers, so does the grove.
Young Audrine makes a bold proclamation. While I believe the spirit of this grove spoke through her, I find it hard to imagine that one of our druids could be responsible for unbalancing nature. That goes against everything we believe. Mostly what you would expect. I oversee the druids that care for this grove and help train the novices in the true way. Elders Karek and Warrain advise me on matters related to my work. I have the utmost faith in young Audrine. What I do not trust is the word of a capricious nature spirit. Go with Audrine. Get us proof that a druid is responsible for the corruption. Then we will take every action necessary to solve the problem.
I've tended this grove for nearly 50 years, and the Evergrowth has never spoken to me. Well, not directly at any rate.
Over here, my friend. The Circle Elders cannot accept that one of our own may be responsible for this disaster. And I could hear the doubt in their voices concerning the Evergrowth. We need to prove that one of our circle has caused this unbalance. Help me investigate. Search the village for any signs that a druid is involved in the corruption. Look in the huts. Ask my fellow druids. Someone or something here will lead us to the source of the corruption. It has to. We'll wait and see if it communicates with us again. If not, I have an idea. But let us try to find the druid responsible for this situation first. I want to determine if this was an accident or a deliberate and reckless act. A ritual? That's proof that a druid caused this problem. Look, there's a mistake in the second line. They wrote remove instead of restore.
If an orc was in charge, Camlorn would have never fallen to a bunch of mangy werewolves.
That ritual fetish, it reeks of the same corruption spreading through the grove. I wonder who it belongs to. There's Druid Milo. He has the eyes of an eagle. If anyone around here saw anything, it would be him.
Good gathering, stranger. I do not recognize you, but I know Druid Audrine very well. What may I do for you this day? Nothing specific, I'm afraid. Just that the corrupted animals have made foraging in the grove dangerous. Oh, This might interest you. I felt a disturbance emanate from the wards in the Undergrove recently. Like a surge of power went through them. The island's volcanic vents create all sorts of underground spaces. The large cavern beneath us is the Undergrove. No one's allowed down there, not without the Archdruid's permission. The wards have something to do with the spirit of the grove. Yes, the Evergrowth. I'm surprised you know that ancient designation. I believe the wards reinforce the spirit's connection to the grove, but I'm not an expert on that. I can sense them, though. I have an affinity for such things.
The Undergrove? No one but the Archdruid ever goes down there.
Life throws you in the dung heap. Remember that you need that fertilizer to grow the best flowers. Or something.
Ah, I see that Druid Audrine has brought us a visitor. What can I do for you today, traveler? As a matter of fact, I noticed animals in the grove suffering from an affliction. I mentioned it to Archdruid Agathy, and she said she would look into it.
When I spoke to the Archdruid, it seemed like that was the first she heard of the corruption in the grove. I think we have everything we need to convince the Archdruid. Let's review what we discovered. Definitely a druidic ritual fetish. I use such accoutrement when conducting my own rituals. But this one bears the taint that afflicts the grove. This fetish must have been used in the ritual that released the corruption. Whoever scrawled this did so in haste. They made an obvious mistake in the middle verse. It should say restore, but the author wrote down remove. That alone would have disastrous effects when the ritual was performed. Someone or something disturbed the wards in the Undergrove, probably when the ritual was performed. And it appears the Archdruid knew about the corruption before I mentioned it, but she acted like she knew nothing. I don't know all the details, but from what I've been taught, the Evergrowth resides in the Undergrove. The wards connect it to the grove, but also bind it. We need to talk to the Archdruid. She's usually in the Northern Grove this time of day. I'll meet you in the northern part of the grove.
I think I need to sleep before I fully understand that puzzle.
The Archdruid? What? Oh no, she's spreading the corruption.
The All-Wither. It's inside me, forcing me to do as it bids.
Where did she go?
Speak with me, mortal. The spirit of the grove has need of you. We are the Evergrowth. The one you sought. She carries the taint of our corruption. We remember her from the Undergrove. She performs a ritual that released this blight upon the land. The Archdruid sought to renew our bindings, but the ancient spells had already frayed. The part of us that is the All-Wither tricked her. She spoke the wrong word. Now, the All-Wither is free to spread its corruption, and the entire grove is in danger. The All-Wither is a part of us, a spirit of nature, called forth and made manifest by the ancient druids. At this sacred grove, the laws of nature are malleable. To strengthen those laws, the druids bound us here. But nature consists of circles. At one end, life. At the other, death. We are both life-nurturing growth and all-withering decay. That part of us is now free. And once the corruption fully takes hold, the Evergrowth will be calm. Only the All-Wither will remain. Will you help us? Tell the druids what we have said. They summoned and bound us in the past. They must be able to do so again. But urge them to hurry. The corruption consumes us. Soon, we shall not be able to stave off the All-Weather.
No matter how many times that happens, I am not sure I will ever get used to that. Return to the village, and tell the elders what the Evergrowth said. I'll join you momentarily. The Evergrowth implied that the Archdruid is as much a victim as it is. Its darker aspect, the All-Wither, somehow broke free and is trying to fully emerge by consuming the grove in corruption. We need to warn the elders. I'll meet you in the village. Elder Karik, we have troubling news concerning the Archdruid.
Slow down, Audrine. Tell us what happened.
The Evergrowth confirmed she performed the binding ritual, but she made a mistake. She released the All-Wither.
The Archdruid is responsible for the corruption? And she released the All-Wither? Oh, the grove is doomed!
The Evergrowth is here and willing to help. In exchange for certain considerations. The Archdruid has returned to the Undergrove. Even now, the All-Wither compels her to speed up the spread of corruption so it can consume us. In our weakened state, we cannot stop the All-Wither from becoming the prominent spirit of the grove. We can, but only if you and this druid break the remaining wards that bind us to this place. That will allow us to recover enough of our power to restore the balance and return the All-Wither to its proper location in the circle. The All-Wither moves quickly. Already we can feel ourselves weakening, losing cohesion. The remaining shreds of our bindings have been corrupted and add to our pain. If you set us free, we can pull energy from the uncorrupted grove and aid you. We are the spirit of the grove. We maintain the balance and keep the true way. We know our duty and our responsibility. Trust us. Together, we can end the corruption and return the grove to its natural state. But decide quickly. We do not have long.
Elders, allow us to enter the Undergrove and do as the Evergrowth asks. We can't let the All-Wither become the dominant spirit.
For all we know, this is exactly what the All-Wither wants us to do. But, yes, go. We'll do what we can up here to slow the spread of the corruption.
The spirit wants us to enter the Undergrove and release its bindings. It claims that will allow it to overcome the All-Wither. I sensed no duplicity while we were connected. I believe the Evergrowth spoke true of its intentions. The entrance I am aware of is in the northern part of the grove. I will meet you there. I have never been in the Undergrove, my friend. I have no idea what we might encounter down there, so be on your guard and ready for anything. We find the corrupted wards. I cleanse them and you break them, much as we did in the grove. After we deal with the initial wards, the Undergrove's central chamber should open, allowing us to destroy the last binding ward and set the spirit free. Magical wards bind the spirit to the grove. We need to find those wards, cleanse them, and destroy them.
Get back, you fetcher!
To run away. Well, now I guess it wouldn't. Maybe they should try that. The central chamber should now be accessible. Let us go and set the spirit free. The final ward is somewhere. Find it and destroy it.
Resist our corruption.
return to the village and tell the elders the good news.
Let's ride!
You did as we asked. We shall do the same. The All-Wither is back where it belongs, as a natural part of our circle. Balance has been restored.
Thank you, Spirit of the Grove. Adventurer, the Evergrowth wants to talk to you.
You and this druid have our thanks, mortal. You trusted us, and now the balance of nature has been restored. The All-Wither is a part of us, just as death is a part of life. Two parts of the same circle. They are back where they belong, in the natural order. And we are where we are needed, maintaining the balance of this sacred grove. There may still be corrupted wildlife about, but the druids can deal with that. Otherwise, know that the danger has passed. We mourn the loss of the Archdruid, but we are grateful for everything you did, mortal. May your harvest never falter.
The Evergrowth says the grove is safe now. It will continue to perform its sacred duty.
For now, I just hope we don't regret removing the binding wards. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Adventurer, may we speak? It pains me that we weren't able to save the Archdruid. It really appears that the All-Wither took control of her without her consent or knowledge. At least we were able to restore the Evergrowth and stop the spread of corruption. Now? Now we try to return to normal. The grove won't be the same without the Archdruid, but we'll make do. Of course, our relationship with the Evergrowth needs to change, as it isn't bound anymore. Oh, this is for you. From our circle, with thanks.
In light of all that has happened, Audrine, we would like to make you a Circle Elder and Mediator with the Evergrowth.
Druid Audrine, an elder, and mediator to the... Oh, very well.
An elder? And the mediator? I don't know what to say.
I hope you'll say yes. You proved yourself and demonstrated a singular rapport with the spirit of the grove. Will you take on these responsibilities?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Can you believe it? An elder? Me? And the mediator between the circle and the spirit of the grove? Oh, this is such an honor. When she accidentally separated the All-Wither from the Evergrowth, I suppose her fate was sealed. The circle will assign a new Archdruid to the grove. In the meantime, the elders will keep us on track. I guess that's me now. Elder and mediator. I suppose I'll talk to the Evergrowth. Get it to help us restore the grove and finish removing the last of the corruption. I just wish the Archdruid were here to see this. She was tough, but I know she wanted me to go far in the circle.